All right, team, welcome to our point of control training. I know everyone's been waiting for this, so thank you for your patience. I'm going to break down point of control, guys, what it is, how to use it. We'll go over a few setups here. So not going to be a long training, but going to be a very important one. So make sure you pay attention. So point of control, guys, I know you've heard me talk about it. I know some of us know what it is. You've seen me use it a lot. Really excited to break this down. So what point of control is, family, is essentially it's the biggest point of liquidity. It's the biggest point where volume takes place, where the most amount of volume is done, giving us a point of control. To give a little history on point of control, just clear this up. Right, this is what you guys see, and this is what it normally would look like. So the actual indicator itself is called volume profile. So if you just throw that in a chart, guys, you can tell it looks much different than what we're used to. And essentially what this indicator is doing, volume profile, is showing us each specific price point in the amount of volume that's conducted at those levels. You can see here, even with the basic indicator, it gives you this little red line, which becomes the point of control, right? So that's where the most amount of volume is done. That's where the biggest level of liquidity sits. And I learned this from John Carter, guys. Stocks, yes, they go up and down, as we all joke about, but stocks literally just travel back and forth to liquidity. That's it. Liquidity rises, liquidity lowers, the stocks travel to those points. So point of control becomes so strong because it helps us find those major points of liquidity, right? Those points of control. The people out of control of the game create these levels. They drive it to those levels and back to them, right? If we're far away, etc. We'll get into a few examples here. But this is essentially the essence of the indicator. And what I've done here, family, is we have, a much better version, which looks like this, right? So it gets rid of all the volume on the side, and let's start to break this down here. So with point of control, family, there's going to be three main points to focus on. One is the white lines. You can see every day we have a white line, right? There's a white line this session. Some of these lines overlap, guys, which I'll explain, but you can see the white, you can see the white, you can see the white. That is the point of control for the current session, right? So that one session, where's the most amount of volume done? Where's the biggest liquidity? That's where that's tracking. I don't really use it too much during session because, again, it does change. Midway through session, it's worth taking a look at, but it's always going to move around depending on the session. However, it is part of the indicator, so that's what the white line means. And then the red line, next line, is the weekly point of control. So you can see we have a full week, and then liquidity raises, and we have our new line sitting here all week. So that continues, to grow all week, starts on Monday, and really gives you a good reference point of where money is controlling the stock for that specific week, right? So white line is daily, red is weekly, and then on to our favorite here, which you probably are more familiar with, is the big blue line. And as you might guess, we got our daily, we got our weekly, and the blue is our monthly point of control, which is the most powerful one, the one you'll want to focus on the most. So again, monthly point of control, that's where the most amount of volume has been done all month. That's the main liquidity spot. And again, guys, stocks go back and forth to liquidity. This is one of the scariest indicators I've ever used because it's based on, what actually happens behind the surface. I'm going to cover a lot of great examples here, but hope this makes sense, family. So we have our daily points of controls, we have our weekly points of controls, and then we have our monthly, right? So I'm going to share this with you guys, but essentially it's just volume profiles set up 3 different times, only tracking the point of control on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis. For this indicator, guys, I was taught to use it on the 30-minute chart with a 10-day price range. I was taught this from John Carter. I don't question it because, when you change time frames, guys, all the points of controls move, right? As you might imagine, right? They're all different. We can go to daily, they're all different. So I was taught on a 30-minute, 10-day chart. That's where I've had the most success. That's where I've seen it work. every single fucking time. So that's what we're going to use, and that's what I'm going to teach here. So any chart you use in our family, make sure you switch to the 30-minute, 10-day chart, right? If we're just stuck on an hourly chart, we're going to get different readings. So again, I learned on the 30-minute. That's what's worked for me. That's what's been magical. That's what I recommend using. So I'm going to share this indicator with you guys at the end of this video, so you'll have it. All you have to do is, I'll show you afterwards, but let's keep moving here. So a few examples, guys. What is point of control, and how can we use it? We understand what it is. We understand it's the biggest, most important level of liquidity. We understand stocks move back and forth to liquidity. How can we use it? So essentially, guys, you want to think of point of control as a massive magnet. A magnet and a cannon, where if we're away from point of control, we're typically gonna go back to it if it doesn't move. So the important thing with point of control, guys, is liquidity can move, which is why we check this every day. But when liquidity stays in the same spot, right? For example, NVIDIA, liquidity just keeps sitting around 366.5. So you can see, guys, anytime we get too far away from it, we run all the way back home, because that's where big money wants it, right? We gap up, we sell the fuck off all the way through it. Where do we end up back? Right back to point of control. We rise higher that day, we sell off. Where do we go to? Right back home, right? It's a magnet, guys. When in doubt, stocks head home to liquidity. I know you've seen this countless times. We will short a stock all the way down to point of control. We'll play a breakout all the way up to it. There's so many great ways to use it, and we'll continue to cover, but really drill the concept, guys, into your head that a stock is gonna head to its liquidity points most of the time, right? 90% of the time, guys, stocks are just going sideways. They're going up, they're going down. As day traders, that gives us, plenty of opportunity. But we got to understand that it's just going back and forth to liquidity until that liquidity rises, right? So just to work on our NVIDIA example here, liquidity all month, guys, right? We're almost done with this month. And again, these numbers have changed a bit. Liquidity's risen, but just for this example, we're going to stick with where it is right now. So we can round up, guys, 30.66.5. I always mark this on my charts, which you guys most likely have seen as that big blue thick line, right? That's marking my weekly point of control. Just going to clean this up here, and we'll look at a few, trades, a few examples, how we can use it. All right, so starting the week, we're under point of control, right? We can expect to start to work our way back. We work our way back, we work our way back, we made it. And now here's where, again, it becomes that cannon. First, it becomes a magnet where it can drag us back. It can, drag us down. Once we get to that liquidity level, guys, you can expect an explosion one way or another. Because again, what is 366.50? It's the biggest level all month. It's where the most transactions have happened all month. So there's whales, guys. That's like a whale pocket, if that makes sense. It's a massive inflection point. They're going to drive it to it, through it, whatever. But you can see, guys, first off, we got to get home. So we get home. And then second, we can expect a big explosion. So we wake up, NVIDIA's sitting on point of control. We're looking for a breakout here. Look at the amount of volume that just comes at point of control, guys, and just explodes this thing, right? Because again, I'm going to get repetitive here, but I want to drill this into your heads. This is the biggest level. This is where everyone is sitting. This is where all the volume is done. As traders, guys, we need volume. So boom, right off of point of control. Tops out at 380, all-time high. Next morning, gaps down right back where? To freaking point of control. Messes around, eventually gets pushed all the way off of it in a strong manner. Again, you can expect strength off of it, either direction. And then where do we go again, guys? All the way back home overnight, and then just sell the fuck off. We gap down here. If NVIDIA doesn't go any lower, where can we expect to go back to? Point of control. Right, guys, it seems crazy, but it's this fucking accurate. It's this strong of a magnet. And there's always, a name that's either above liquidity that's going to head home, below it that's going to head back. or sitting right on it, and you can expect chop or an explosion. So just look at all these plays, guys, right? We gap down, you know, point of control's above. You want to be bullish on NVIDIA, there you fucking go. Right to point of control. It's the best target. Right, next day, we open above it. Market's weak. You can expect to fade it to it. Right, guys, this isn't a small move. This is a 4 or 5 point move to point of control. Never mind all the way through it. And then again, choppy week, guys. So money just goes back and forth to liquidity. It doesn't move. It doesn't break its range. This is what I mean by stocks 90% of the time don't go anywhere. They just go up and down, but they always head home, right? So we end the day down here. Next morning, where are we? Right back at point of control, family. And then we have a pretty lame day, pretty lame day, pretty lame day. Guess where we sell off to? Point of control. Scary, man. It's fucking scary. And then this day, guys, did absolutely nothing, right? We just sit on point of control, sit on point of control. Like I said, it's just a magnet, guys. So on Thursday, the market's doing nothing, NVIDIA's doing nothing. They were all just sitting at point of control, right? That's where the most liquidity is. They don't want it to move. So they're just dishing off shares to pass the fucking time. Or we're going to cover the market here next, but you'll see. Last week, guys, the market went nowhere. All we did was sit at liquidity, and a lot of names did the same thing. NVIDIA, guys, started the week below it, ran to it, fell back, gapped up, just chilled, started to fade towards it here to end the day. Almost made it home. So there's a good example, guys, of point of control. Hope that makes sense. Going to cover another example here on ES. So as we know, guys, right, this week was all about quad witching. And again, what was quad witching? All the contracts expiring, meaning big money doesn't want this market to move. How do we use this to our advantage? When they don't want it to move, what does that mean? It means they want to keep it at liquidity, where the most, liquid. It's where they can get transactions. It's where they can control the stock. Point of control. So you can see, guys, we had one good day this week. We started Monday and we rallied right to point of control. And then the entire week, guys, this is what I mean by we don't go anywhere except back and forth to liquidity, right? We rise in the morning and then we tank to point of control, right? Blah, 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 overnight. We rise into the morning. We fade right to point of control. We bop again, right? This is 1:30. Where do we fade to, guys? Point of control to end the day, 4 o'clock. We gap down, right? 10:30 at night. By morning, where are we? Point of control, right? Pushes us off it in the morning. Where are we again? Point of control. Just sit there all day. Friday, guys, we shorted the market. You can guess where? To point of control. It gets so funny and so repetitive, guys, but it's so powerful, right? ES went on that little run up early, right? Market opens, guys, 9:30 and just rolls the fuck over. And guess what? Where's it going? Home. We buy SPX 0 days. Was a great day. Boom, right to it. And then starts to mess around at it. Drops a little more here. And then boom, 2:30, runs it right back home. And then sell off again. Right? Massive magnet, massive push, the biggest level. It's where all the control is happening. So a lot of the best plays, guys, are, one, getting the push to it and then getting the fade back to it, right? Friday, guys, SPX locked 100% plus on multiple layers because I knew we were headed home to liquidity. So it's like, just chill. Boom, perfect. Trade over, right? Went back to it. You can short it again for end of day. Just so many great ways to use it. So another example, Apple. All right, Apple, guys, Friday. We're above point of control. Where are we headed, family? Where are we headed? This trade worked twice this week, right? We're above point of control. Market sells off, right home to it. Again, Friday, market gaps up. Market's above point of control. Apple's above point of control. We're not breaking range. Means we're coming home, right? Right to it. And then again, explosiveness right fucking through it. We'll see when we get back to it, but let's keep looking at some examples here, guys. So plenty of great examples with NVIDIA, Shopify, right? Some names, guys, they just run so hard off of it. Again, this number can change, but as of right now, it's not. So for whatever reason, shop starts to sell off, guys, and liquidity stays down at 748 this month, right? I expect shop to go to it, as crazy as that sounds. It can rise, right? It can move up to 820, which then would make more sense. But if liquidity continues to stay below, gotta be careful. Gotta be careful. You never want to run too far away from the magnet, right? You want the magnet to follow you. So there's a great example of one that can be very extended and potentially start to come home here if it doesn't rise. Tesla, another great example, right, guys? Gaps up, rejects our zone. I think a few people actually traded this. Where's it going to go to, guys? Right to point of control, breaches it even more, right back to it, fades again, closes the day right at point of control. Crazy, crazy, crazy. So you guys see it. I incorporate into my zones. I incorporate into my, thesis, my charts, because it really is one of the most powerful indicators you'll ever use. Because again, 90% of the time, guys, we're just going back and forth to liquidity. So to know exactly where that spot is, how to use it, know where the market's liquidity is, it's going to change your life. Let's look at a few more examples here, guys. All right, Twilio, guys, trying to run this week, woke up extended, fell all the way to point of control, and boom, to the T, guys, gets picked up and then sends this thing flying. Little example there. If it's still, can't break this all-time high, guys, Twilio can come all the way back to point of control. You can see zoom, 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 just going back and forth, gaps down, comes all the way home. Again, gaps down, comes all the way home pre-market, chills, 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 not ready to move. Roku, guys, ran home to point of control this week. Let's see. I mean, there's so many examples, guys, right? Beyond Meat, we know how big of a fail Beyond Meat's been this week. They go for the breakout, they freaking fail. When they fail, guys, where are they going to go to? Point of control, right? Fail, point of control. Fail, point of control. Boom, made it back home. So you guys can see, man, this is one of the most powerful indicators. There's really not much else to share on it. Going to go through this one more time just to summarize here. So again, guys, point of control is built from volume profile, only marking the biggest points, which again are the points of control, those major levels throughout the daily, week, and month to show us where big money wants it, where they can take over, right? Blue, guys, is monthly. Red is weekly. Sometimes they overlap. So you always want to check that. White is daily, and you want to use it on the 30-minute, 10-day chart. So I'm going to share this with you guys, right? All I'm going to do is share this link. All you're going to have to do is open it on desktop. It's going to pull up something like this, family. And again, it's only for Thinkorswim users. Click View in Thinkorswim, click Open, and it's going to give you a little window like this. So it's going to come, guys, exactly how I send it. It's going to come on that 30-minute, 10-day, just like you need it. What you want to do is go to Studies, click Save Study Set, and name it, point of control, whatever you want, and then save. And then from there, guys, when you're just flipping around charts, whatever, you can go to a 30-day, 10-minute, you can go to Studies, you can go to Load Study and pull up that point of control and start to incorporate it into your prep, right? Apple, for example, guys, right? Let's just mark this quickly. Right, we'll call it 352. I like to round up. I don't really like to use the exact cents. Close enough is good for me. Right, so little example here, guys. We'll obviously see where Apple opens, but say the market turns around, right? Say we hold 345. Apple's gonna start to make a march back to 352. It's just as simple as that. So now that you guys know about it, now that you're educated, my prep, make much more sense. I encourage you to start incorporating into your prep. And again, guys, one of the strongest indicators. I love playing, pushes to it if we gap down or below it. Or look at NVIDIA, guys, all the way fucking home. Crazy. Not NVIDIA, Apple. You might not believe in it right away, but I promise you guys, as soon as you start to see it work over and over and over and over, you won't judge it. Right? You're confident on Friday when the market's rolling that I can fade Apple to 351, right? 352. That day, guys, right? You buy the 0 days for probably 20 cents, right? 352, market's weak, can't even break pre-market high. You're catching a massive return, man, all with just one simple indicator. assuming it's going to go home, and then boom. All right, so that's it, family. That's going to wrap up this point of control training. You guys have me in the chat. If you have any questions at all on this indicator, feel free to ask. We're going to use it every single day. So I encourage you, start to use it in your prep, start to, take a few plays off of it and really incorporate into your game, guys. So that's point of control, POC. Hope you enjoy it.